The sun hovered low on the horizon, casting long shadows across the abandoned farmland where Aiden Cross stood with dust caking his boots. In another life, he might have taken in the view, rolling fields, once green, now baked and cracked under an unforgiving sky. He might have recalled the way his mother used to sing while tending rows of corn. But those days felt like another century. Now, the only sounds were the distant hum of alien machinery and the occasional crackle of a burning homestead. Aiden had no time for nostalgia. He had a rendezvous to keep. It had been 2 years since the Aren Collective descended from the stars, their ships blotting out the sun and their demands echoing through every broadcast. They claimed Earth was a resource-rich sphere, ripe for harvesting. They insisted that humanity either cooperate or face consequences. The initial panic gave way to desperate negotiations, led by politicians who never fully grasped the scope of the threat. Aiden watched on television as the first agreements were signed, as if the Aren were benevolent visitors offering new technology in exchange for farmland and precious minerals. But behind those negotiations lurked something far more sinister. Aiden first realized the truth when he witnessed an Aren patrol abducting entire families from a small farming community near his hometown. He had been driving supplies along a dusty back road when he heard the screams. Hiding behind a rusted tractor, he watched in horror as the Aren soldiers, tall, slender, and eerily calm, corralled men, women, and children into a floating transport. The terrified pleas fell on deaf ears. Moments later, the transport soared into the sky, leaving nothing but dusty footprints and a sense of violation so deep it burned into his memory. In the months that followed, stories spread like wildfire. People vanished overnight, entire towns went dark. The Aren maintained an outward facade of cooperation, insisting that humans who disappeared had chosen to relocate to new opportunity zones. But the fear in every survivor's eyes told another tale. Aiden grew convinced that the aliens were holding back their full power for reasons no one understood. Their technology was advanced enough to conquer Earth in days, yet they moved slowly, methodically. It was as though they were waiting for something, or someone. His suspicions only deepened when he joined the fledgling resistance, a loose coalition of soldiers, farmers, scientists, and everyday citizens who refused to bow to alien rule. They communicated via encrypted radios, meeting in secret bunkers and deserted warehouses. They shared data, eyewitness accounts, and scraps of Aren technology scavenged from crash sites. It was in one of these meetings that Aiden met Dr. Marisol Huerta, a brilliant astrophysicist with haunted eyes who claimed to have discovered the reason for the Aren's strange restraint. Dr. Huerta explained that the Aren Collective was not a monolith. They were divided into factions, each vying for dominance within their own empire. Earth was a contested resource, and one of these factions believed in a slow, stealthy takeover to avoid triggering some cosmic rule. Another faction, more aggressive, wanted to annihilate humanity outright. The tension between these alien factions created an uneasy stalemate. Meanwhile, humans remained pawns in a game they barely understood. The idea that the Aren were holding back chilled Aiden to his core. If this was them at half measure, what horrors awaited if they unleashed their full might? One night, a coded transmission reached the Resistance's makeshift command post in the basement of an abandoned library. A soft crackle, then a distorted voice, Aren official, defector, coordinates, orchard near Redwood Highway, that was all. The voice cut out. Despite the risk of a trap, Aiden volunteered to go. The possibility of an Aren defector could mean critical intelligence, maybe even a way to free the captives. Now, as he scanned the farmland stretching before him, he tried to quiet the hammering in his chest. The orchard was only a few hundred yards away. Rows of gnarled fruit trees, leaves wilted under a scorching sun, offered minimal cover. In the distance, the silhouette of a solitary figure wavered in the heat haze. Aiden gripped his sidearm and advanced cautiously. He had expected a towering alien with luminescent eyes and elongated limbs. Instead, he found a young Aren woman, or what appeared to be a woman, leaning against a tree, breathing in ragged gasps. Her skin was a muted silver, her eyes an otherworldly teal. She wore a simple cloak rather than the sleek body armor Arren soldiers usually donned. Upon noticing him, she straightened, a flicker of relief crossing her features. "You came," she said in halting English, voice resonating with a faint echo. "My name is Astra. We must hurry." Aiden eyed her warily, still keeping his weapon raised. "Prove you're not leading me into a trap." She lifted her hands in a gesture of surrender. "I have no illusions about earning your trust right away. But I need you to listen. My people are planning something that will erase humanity if you don't act. They've been cautious because of an ancient code, a cosmic treaty that prevents them from overtly destroying a developing species without just cause. But that code is about to be overridden by the more militant faction." Aiden's grip on his pistol tightened. "So they're waiting for a justification to exterminate us?" "Precisely," Astra said, her voice trembling. "They're orchestrating incidents, capturing humans, and provoking your governments to retaliate. They want you to lash out in a way that can be framed as a direct threat to the entire collective. Once that happens, the cosmic code no longer applies. Earth becomes fair game for total annihilation." The orchard around them felt impossibly still, as if nature itself was holding its breath. Aiden's mind raced. Could this truly be the reason for the half-measures, the puzzling slow takeover? His stomach churned at the thought. "Why are you telling me this?" She looked away, as though gathering her courage. "Because I've seen enough. The children, the families. My own people see humans as expendable. I can't," she swallowed, her teal eyes glistening. "I can't stand by anymore. I want to help you stop them." Aiden exhaled slowly, the tension in his shoulders easing just a fraction. "If you're lying, it'll cost you your life." A sad smile tugged at her lips. "Then I'll choose honesty." They made their way back to the Resistance safe house under the cover of night, weaving through desolate back roads. Astra explained that the militant faction's plan was nearly complete. They had hidden a set of devices across Earth's major cities, each designed to mimic advanced weapon signatures. Once activated, it would appear as though humanity had developed a superweapon. The Arren leadership would declare Earth in violation of the cosmic treaty, justifying a swift, merciless extermination. The plan's brilliance lay in its simplicity: sow enough false evidence of a threat, then claim self-defense. Inside the bunker, Dr. Huerta and the rest of the Resistance leaders grilled Astra with endless questions. She answered each with a calm urgency, detailing the locations of the hidden devices and the time frame they had before the final signal was given. Skepticism warred with desperation on the faces of those present. But every detail Astra offered matched fragments of intelligence the Resistance had gathered independently. Aiden stepped forward. "So how do we stop them?" Astra hesitated. "We must destroy or deactivate these devices before they can broadcast their false data. But they're guarded. And even if you succeed, the militant faction may still attempt to spin it as a human provocation." Dr. Huerta tapped a map pinned to the wall. "We've identified possible coordinates in London, Beijing, Rio de Janeiro, Cairo, and Los Angeles. If your intel is right, we have less than a week before the broadcast." A heavy silence settled over the group. 5 global sites. Each heavily monitored by Arren patrols. They would need a coordinated strike. They would need help from local cells in every region. It seemed impossible. Yet the alternative was unthinkable: letting Earth be condemned to oblivion. In the days that followed, a massive underground effort took shape. Resistance members across continents smuggled weapons and sabotage gear, forging alliances with the scattered remains of national militaries. Some were hesitant to trust an Arren defector, but Aiden's personal endorsement carried weight. He'd become a symbol of resilience, an ex-soldier who refused to give up on the human race. As the operation prepared to launch, Aiden found himself alone with Astra in a dimly lit corridor of the bunker. She looked exhausted, her silver skin dull with stress. He recalled how, just a short time ago, he would have seen her kind as an enemy. Now, here she was, risking everything to save humanity. The strangeness of it weighed on him. "Are you sure you're ready for this?" he asked quietly. She nodded. "I have no home to return to. If this fails, my life is forfeit anyway. At least this way, I stand for something I believe in." Aiden offered a small, grateful smile. "Then let's make sure we don't fail." On the night of the coordinated strikes, teams around the globe moved in unison. In Los Angeles, Aiden led a squad through the abandoned subway tunnels, guided by Astra's directions. Tension crackled in the air as they navigated debris and flickering emergency lights. They encountered scattered Aren patrols, but the resistance had grown adept at guerrilla tactics, quick ambushes, silenced weapons, a retreat into the shadows. When they reached the location of the device, a heavily fortified chamber beneath the city's old civic center, the SC.